Hello and welcome to Top Fives, the show of everything. Top Fives, presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joy Parati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, as you may have noticed, we are joined today by a very special guest, and it's going to be a good time. I don't even know what we're talking about tonight, but I can guarantee it's a good time. Jonathan, I'm going to pass the ball over to you, and you may do introductions.
Yes, this is my good friend, Trevor Goin. He is joining us tonight for the podcast. And I actually have a history with Trevor. We used to work at the
Romantic?
Same... No. Friends at heart, but we used to work together at the said company that we work for, or we used to work for. Yeah.
The company that shall not be spoken.
Yeah, shall not be spoken of.
Smart.
Trevor, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man.
Of course. For coming on. Thanks for wanting to come on. That's wild.
Yo, you guys are funny. I like when you guys are fun to watch. I like hearing your explanations for each one of your top fives when you go through them.
Ooh, cool.
Because I like to know the reasoning. Because sometimes, you have to know, why is it number one?
It's true.
Yeah, it is tough though to choose your number one. I feel like we both kind of struggle with it every now and then because it's hard to dwindle it down to 5 items every time.
It's true. I've got a lot of backups tonight. I've got a ton of backups. So
yeah, we were supposed to do backups. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you don't have to.
You don't have to, but it's like an honorable mention if you have something of mine.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
I'm an anal retentive bastard, so usually, like, if Sean mentions something that was on my list, I try to strike it just so that we can have unless it's a number one. That I don't usually change my number one.
I'm working with professionals here. You guys already have a system.
Kind of, and we've only been doing this 6 years. Like, we should have a better system at this point, and we don't. I think we've regressed, if anything. And I'm kind of okay with that too.
Hey, if it's broke, don't fix it. Exactly. As long as it works, that's what matters.
Yeah, and we've been doing it live too, which has kind of kept us a little bit on edge. So,
which is fun. I do like that aspect of it. Oh yeah, we've been doing the live thing now.
It's been.
Did we start that in quarantine?
I think so. Yeah, so it's been a little over the year.
Maybe I think was the 200th episode was our first.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
So this is our 27th time doing it live.
Yeah. And hopefully
Exciting.
we'll get to 300 soon. I don't know, within maybe the year?
Maybe in the next 5 episodes?
Yeah.
That should be enough time.
Should be enough time, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, super excited for tonight, man. Man, what I know we usually kind of start off, we kind of talk kind of pop culture, like news and stuff. Is there anything that comes to mind, Joey or Trevor? Do you have anything you guys can think of?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go for
Tomorrow, Deathloop comes out, and I'm so excited for it.
Oh,
game for the PS5.
Yeah.
It's getting great reviews,
nice.
and it looks so much fun. If you're one of the lucky people that actually has a PS5 and was able to find one over the last however many years it's been released, then go get Deathloop because I've heard really good things.
Can you explain?
Right on.
I don't know if Joey's seen anything on it or if any of our audience knows, but can you explain like what the game's about? Because I heard it has a very interesting kind of mechanic to it.
Yeah, it's Deathloop. It's almost like the live, die, repeat of Edge of Tomorrow, where you die, you get sent back before you die, and you basically have to relive this one day over and over again. The only way out is to kill the 8 visionaries, and they're basically the ones that are purposely resetting the day every single time. So they're trapping you, and the whole game is you trying to break out of the loop.
That's pretty crazy.
That's interesting because that's what already happens in a video game when you die. You start over, right? So it's that's kind of funny that's part of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's wild. I like that. I don't have a PS5. I'm waiting for them to come out with a slimmer version. I think it's cool. It's futuristic looking, but I have no place for. I needed a second. I need to upgrade from a studio to a 1-bedroom to be able to have a PS5.
You have to give it its own stand. Like it has to have its own section of the room. Yeah.
That's quite the investment. But
yeah, definitely. I'm excited for next gen. I think that's because I've seen some of the cool stuff. Like, is it ray tracing where it's like the reflections of the environments and stuff in the water, and it's a lot of cool stuff. And I heard the Unreal engine is like really super detailed.
It's unreal.
It's unreal, y'all. So
it's fucking unreal, dude.
That's super cool. I guess I'm gonna piggyback off like a game because we're kind of talking about games. There's this game called Riders Republic that's releasing next month. Have you guys heard of this one yet?
No.
Okay, I never really got to play. I think it's under a series, but there was a game called Steep that released a few years ago, and it was kind of like extreme sports, like snowboarding, and like hang gliding or something like that. There's some sort of.
So this is a Riders Republic, not a Writers Republic.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I was confused on that too.
Riders. Yeah. Sorry, Riders
Very
Republic.
Good.
So the game is kind of like and I'm not really a huge. I mean, aside from maybe Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I'm not like the biggest I guess extreme sports video game fan. But this one looks really interesting, and it's pretty much a online open map, open world. Kind of playground for you to do like BMX biking, snowboarding, skiing, rocket launch, like rocket jetpacking. It's just like an all inclusive kind of
live out the adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, but the cool thing is I've seen like footage, and it's like the maps are based on real places like in the world. And they can do these modes where when you cross like a checkpoint, you can change like different sports. So like you go from BMXing and you hit the first checkpoint and you go into like, snowboarding or something like that. And it's crazy.
That's wild.
It's literally like they're saying it's like it will actively show you people who are playing. So when you look at your map, you'll see like all the people online in like little dots and all the current races that are happening, which I think is really cool. I think that's kind of the future of a lot of the multiplayer stuff. So I never been so stoked for like a kind of game like that, but it looks fun. It's going to come out like the end of October. And
nice.
I missed the beta, which I was kind of sad about. But yeah, it looks pretty fun. And I think that's going to be the next kind of game I might get into for PlayStation. So yeah.
Right on. Very nice. I'll complete the trifecta of gaming news, and Insomniac. They released 2 trailers, and there's gonna be a Wolverine game, which is they just gave us a little animatic, and you saw the claws schnicked, and then we're gonna get Spider-Man 2, which that's almost enough reason to buy a PS5 in my
just
in
on
my,
its own,
So we're gonna see. I'm pretty excited for that. We don't really know much about either. I mean, the Spider-Man 2 is gonna have Venom. So Venom. I'm hoping, because they did such a great job with all the alternate skins and costumes, that they do the traditional or like the comic book symbiote costume. Because like you can play comic book Spidey in Spider-Man PS4, and he looks like hand drawn and everything. And what I don't want of the symbiote costume is to like see texture and like for it to look almost like cloth, or like what Tobey Maguire wore
Spider-Man 3
in Spider-Man 3. I just want, it's an alien costume. It shouldn't, like when you see the comic book drawings in the 80s, it's just ink, against a skyline. It's solid. So fucking cool. So I'm very excited for that. That's what I'm really excited for. And Miles Morales, they're going to be teaming up. I wonder if you're going to be able to switch characters and stuff. Probably.
I was wondering
you're going
that
to be able to play all 3, because I think it's the 3 of you against Kraven. I think that's what it's going to be.
Oh wait, you get to play Venom?
I'm pretty sure, because that's why he said we will, because the narrator speaking, I'm pretty sure that was Kraven. So I'm pretty sure he's going to want to hunt the Spider-Men. So he's going to want Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Venom. And so the 3 of them are probably, which means you're right. Hopefully you get a lot of cool costumes for Venom. Is one thing that if he's why would he not be playable? If you put Venom in the game and you don't make him playable, the fan base would be so disappointed.
Yeah, that's a big hype game for sure. And I think that's going to bring a lot of people to like native PlayStation, to stick with like the next gen PlayStation games, Yeah, that was cool. I Wolverine trailer, that was kind of cool too. I don't know what they're going to
hanging out in a bar.
Yeah,
cowboy hat.
I can imagine.
I've seen that guy.
Yeah, I can imagine this as a game, and obviously, kind of playing off of the Spider-Man games with the different skins and outfits. You know, I could totally see like all the different Wolverine outfits and.
Give me that brown costume,
dude.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, they got a lot to play with there, so I'm actually really excited for those games to come out. And yeah, I think you're right, Joey. That might kind of bring me into the next gen world.
It might do that, or GTA 6 if that ever gets made in the next decade. Yeah. We'll see.
Probably by the time we're 40, it'll come out.
God,
yeah.
You know what? That's closer. That's closer than I want to admit. So let's not even go there.
Oh man.
One last bit of news. I don't know how close you guys are following the tabloid headlines of John Mullaney.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
What happened with John Mullaney? Oh gosh, fill me in.
Well, I don't know how far back I need to go for it. I'll just recap his year. So John Mullaney, if you ever follow his comedy, was married to Anna Marie Tendler, makeup artist in her own right. And during COVID, they were together for 6 years. They're married for 6 years, together for longer. And during COVID, he relapsed because, he presents such a squeaky clean image, like him in Spider-Verse is Peter Porker, Spider-Ham. That really is John Mullaney, at least in my mind's eye. You know what I mean? And he relapsed hard, cocaine, alcohol, all this stuff.
Man.
He got out of rehab, immediately divorced his wife.
Whoa.
Immediately got together with Olivia Munn, and now he just announced that they're having a baby together.
Whoa.
I'm heartbroken.
It's also something that, like, in the past he had joked about, like, with his wife wanting kids and him never wanting kids or not wanting kids, and then just after that to end that relationship and then immediately
whoa, man.
Yeah, so that was that was weird and shocking, like jarring to kind of just see.
Yeah. Wow.
I think more than most celebrities and stuff. I think maybe with comedians and probably musicians, because their art is almost always very personal. You feel like you have a true connection with that person, or that them on some personal level, which we don't. But that's what we're made to feel like, and we fall into that trap. And with John Mullaney, you really felt like you knew this guy. He was an Irish kid who kind of clean cut and loved his wife, blah blah. I was like, oh shit. It's such a whiplash of like we don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but man, I'm placing bets right now that dude is going to relapse hard and probably die.
I really hope it's not the case, but like it seems like he's in a weird, jarring. It just seems like he's in a weird place that I hope he gets out of. Place.
Yeah, I saw him on Seth Meyers when he made the announcement, and you can just kind of tell that he's still fighting everything internally. You know what I mean?
Did you watch when he was talking about the intervention?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. And yeah, he was like, I was pissed at all you guys. He's like, when Fred Armisen isn't doing a bit, it's creepy. It was like, fine, I'll go to rehab. Just stop being serious, Fred Armisen. But yeah, you can tell he's still fighting hard with those demons, whatever he's battling. It's not over, which is very sad. But I hope he pulls through, because I really like John Mullaney. And I just feel bad for that whole situation. Very sad.
I feel bad for his wife.
Yeah. I don't know if you follow her Instagram, but she posts like the most heartbreaking photos.
Yeah.
Of like her alone at the dinner table with an empty plate across from her, and you're just like, oh my God.
I think that was like the dinner in March, which was
Yes. Yeah. So
I
don't know.
Yeah, I've heard about his addiction, his addictions and stuff. But yeah, all that just happening, and it's like, I mean, I can't judge anyone for, I don't know them or anything like that, but the choice of like, that's a crazy kind of flip to obviously divorce your wife, and then now you have someone that you're gonna have a baby with, whether or not it was something that they planned on or it just kind of obviously came in that, as
I'm gonna take a leap of faith and just guess that it wasn't planned.
It wasn't planned.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna go a step further and refute the timeline that John Mullaney laid out. I divorced my wife and then I met Olivia Munn. I think he got her pregnant. It was like, fuck, I got to divorce my wife. That's my theory.
Man, dude.
Or he was fucking around and felt too guilty.
Scandalous,
that Catholic guilt that we all know and love so much. But yeah, it's interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I think there is like a societal kind of default view of divorce, right? Oh, this guy's divorcing his wife. You have no idea the situation, bad guy, or oh man, shame on him. How dare they? You always stick with it, whatever. And if you've been listening to our show for a while, I went through it, and even having gone through that, the back of my mind went, man, John Mulaney's fucked up. Why is he divorcing his wife? What a bad guy. And then I got to press pause and be like, well, no, we don't know all the facts. You weren't in the household, so it's a very tricky thing with celebrity personalities. You just never know what's real, what's just being presented to you, what's the public persona, what's PR, what's real. Wild stuff.
Wild stuff.
Wow. Yeah. I like to digest, big chunks
right before we jump into the topic
of emotionally just wrenching topics.
Well, I agree with you. Like, I think also you really do feel like you know them, and I think the only part that you do know is whatever the ideas they put into whatever art they made. But that's it's hard when you get to know them, that side of them, and you see the other side that they don't show the public, or that side that nobody really knows unless you actually know John Mullaney and his wife.
Yeah. I read some article where a guy was like, I saw him on the subway once, but in the back of my head, I was like, never meet your heroes. And because he probably has guys coming up to him all the time, like, oh, we would get along because I related to that one thing in your bit 5 years ago. Well, like, that's got to take its toll. You know what I mean? Like that can't be fun.
Yeah.
I've been thinking so much about this relationship that I'm in no way a part of, and just had to get it out on the show. So there we go.
Bit of good news. Sorry, I just saw on the tabloid
please.
Britney Spears got out of her
that's right
with her father.
Yes, he filed to end it.
Good news.
Free Britney. Yeah. Thank you for bringing it back up. I like that. We needed that balance. I appreciate that.
Got you.
That balance.
That was a wild roller coaster too, because she had gotten denied and blah blah blah. But I guess public pressure.
Yeah, finally tilted it.
Yeah, these TikTok and Gen Zers are like doing the Lord's work, man.
They're powerful.
They really are. From spamming, hotlines in Texas to they're wonderful. Let's not corrupt this generation. They're gonna be running shit. They're Gen Z are the ones who are gonna get us the 4-day work week. Mark my words.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's coming. It can't keep going on like this.
It's a matter of time at this point.
It has to be. They're doing it in certain countries in Europe. I mean, they're probably not rich, but they're rich in spirit, and that's what counts. So wonderful. Okay. We got all that out of the way. Jonathan, should we dive into some lists?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. And we have a special curated list. Do you want to set the stage?
Yeah. So of course, Trevor and I used to work together, but I also know him for being someone who writes and also does voice acting. And the topic kind of came up as we were trying to pick some, discuss some topics for tonight. So the topic tonight is top 5 voice actors.
I love it. Real quick, I knew about the voice acting. What do you write?
I do poetry, short stories, but more into now I'm actually writing novels. I actually wrote my first book during the 2020 pandemic. Thank you.
Hey, you and me both, man.
It was a good time to do stuff.
It really was. What do you write on? Like, do you have a preferred software or notebook or whiteboard? What's your process?
My favorite thing that I use is actually this it's called a remarkable. It's basically like a digital little notepad,
little tablet kind of. Yeah,
I love it. It's so nice, and it transcribes it into text. For me personally, only because I like to write. Yes, otherwise it is very. I feel like it's very unnecessary, but at the same time, I use this more than any other writing tool, so I feel like I'm getting my money's worth, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's very cool. I would imagine that it feels better writing on that than like writing on an iPad per se.
It does. It doesn't, it's obviously not exactly paper and pen, but it's really, really close. And my brain seems to function the same way when I'm writing on paper than when I'm writing on this, so I like it.
That's awesome. That is very cool. Nice. Well,
we'll have to we'll have to promote your book too as well. I actually helped record the audiobook for his.
Okay. Well. I remember you telling me about this. I did not put two and two together. Wonderful. I'm usually fucking out of it most of the time.
We'll do a little shout out at the maybe during our share time for your book and everything.
Wonderful. I'm gonna need to pick your brain about that. I got a typewriter over the pandemic, and I did highly recommend. But I typed out 450 pages and I read it back and I was like, this is fucking awful. This is just so boring. Because I usually do screenplays and stuff like that. So it was my first time attempting something like that. And it felt good seeing all that paper, but nah.
I will say it's easy to look back on your work and feel that way. Very easy to look back
after like, everything. Yeah.
Finish a page, I'm like, it's garbage.
Yeah, it's like Paul Schrader used to keep a loaded gun on his desk, and it's like I'm not at that point just yet, but god damn it, I'm close.
You can understand why he had it there.
Yes, like as a 15-year-old, I'm like, what, why? And then you get to 30 and you're like, I get it. I fucking get it. All right, but yes, tell us more about the voice acting. I want to hear all about this.
Well, I haven't really done much of anything, but the only thing that I really did with Sean was I recorded the audiobook for my book that I wrote, and I did all the voices. It was actually a lot of fun. We did it over like the course of like a couple months. Like once a week, we'd go in and record for like 2 hours. And
during the pandemic. But I gotta say, you've got like a pretty good like I guess like speaking voice, like if you like the deep voice, I don't know. There's you do like Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Pretty good. Like, so and then I remember recording a little reel for you with some little voiceovers and just different characters and stuff. I think honestly, after doing the audiobook, I was telling Trevor, I was like, dude, you should definitely at least find a way to get like work doing this, either reading novels or doing some sort of voice acting in other media. Sorry, but yeah.
Have you been did you like do training for like voice? I've always been fascinated by all that stuff.
I'm sure real voice actors probably have. I have not. I just kind of only learned what I've heard over the years. And I mean, I've seen some videos of certain like proclaimed voice actors telling about their secrets and how they do it. Like Tom Kenny and how he does a lot of SpongeBob's voices and stuff. That's always fun to see how they experiment with the voice. But it's something that I've always thought would be like a really fun job. People have told me like sometimes when I used to work at the drive-thru on the headset, I would always I would tune it up and do like a radio voice and do the good morning and welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started?
There we go. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, that would be.
This was like a few minutes of teasing. We finally got a little taste. Now I want more. That's fantastic. Right on. Very cool.
Right on. So for tonight's list, how do you guys want to do it? Do you want to go one by one or each person? I feel like we always experiment with this.
We can go one by one, but I'm almost counting on the fact that if we go one by one, we'll only get through one list. I mean, it's not a guarantee that we'll get through 2 lists tonight, just knowing us. But so fuck it. Why not go like, all right, let's start at number 5 and go around. You want to do that way?
Yeah, let's start number 5.
Let's try.
Fuck it, we'll do it live, we'll start at 5.
We'll do it live.
So Trevor, sir, would you like, being our esteemed guest, would you like to kick things off with your number 5 pick?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, my number 5 pick has already been mentioned. Steve Bloom had to be included on my list. it's hard to put him anywhere else because he has to be in my top 5, but I had other people that I thought were just more versatile. That being said, I love Steve Bloom's voice. It is like, it's so deep, it's silky, and just Spike Spiegel's one of my favorite characters that he's ever done. And I love Cowboy Bebop. I love watching that show, and he's also just in so many different things. And one when you hear his voice, you know it's him.
It's immediately recognizable, right?
You're like, oh, Steve Bloom's in this. Yeah. So that's my number 5 pick.
Wonderful. I like it. Jonathan.
Yes.
Would you like to just drop your number 5 on the table?
Yeah. This one's kind of a weird throwback for me because this is kind of going back to audio tapes, actually, weirdly enough. I don't know what he's done. I don't know if he's always just done voice acting or this kind of thing, but it's a voice actor, narrator. This guy, Jim Dale, he's a British, I don't know, I said British. He's a British narrator, and I know him for I guess there's 2 versions of it, but I guess he's the UK version of the Harry Potter series books, and I can't remember who the American version was, but what set him apart from the other audiobooks was he would do all the characters in the book, even the girls. He would do the kind of like Monty Python, like, you know, he would pitch his voice up and everything. He got really into it, and I always loved the way he narrated, the way he kind of again attached his characters and kind of, you know, really got his characters down, because, you know, for a book series that spanned, you know, over, what was it, 7 books or whatever, you know, that's, you know, it's great to have that consistency throughout the series. And I remember listening to a few of the audiobooks from the Harry Potter series. So Jim Dale, man. Yeah.
Love that. Very nice. Choice.
Yeah.
Okay. That you saying how he did all the characters. I was watching like a retrospective on Conker's Bad Fur Day like a month ago. I think it was like 2 guys did all of the voice. There's a shit ton of voice.
Yeah. They did
in that game.
What?
And I think it's mainly one guy, and then one guy does all the voices, and one guy like just does Conker or something like that. It's kind of incredible.
That's wild.
But yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna toss my top 5 to you. This feels like a cheat to me because I don't know how you guys are feeling about like just having celebrities who sometimes do voice work, because that's not necessarily. I mean, it's allowed, but I wouldn't like. Robin Williams is not a voice actor. He can voice act, but he's my number 5 pick, and but I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't classify him as traditionally, like that's not his main bread and butter. But Robin Williams as the genie, and for some reason I've been talking about Aladdin a lot, like the past week or two, and just you know, especially after he passed, and you know, the last scene in Aladdin, I threw it on, and when he's like, I'm free, and I was just bawling my eyes out. But it's almost a mania with him, right? Like his comedy was very manic. You know, he would go and and all, you know, I mean, even in Mrs. Doubtfire, he's like, I do voices. And, you know, and then he goes through the, you know, the whole kind of shtick. And that's why I love Aladdin so much, is because you're getting a Robin Williams stand-up routine animated. Like that's the fucking greatest thing I've ever heard, because he just, and now he's Jack Nicholson, and now he's Peter Lorre, and you know, like he's just doing all these different, and it's so fucking good, and it's seamless. And you're just like, how does one's brain just make all these connections so fast, and so he's not fumbling at any point, you know what I mean? It's just dun, 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 dun. And it's awesome. And if you ever watch like the outtakes, because they recorded him in the booth, and they just have hours and hours and hours of him in the recording booth, and the sound engineers kept having to stop the tape and go, Mr. Williams, it's a Disney movie. Minnie Mouse can't take it in the ass. And you know, so
oh man. That's cool.
Yeah, that's my number. He's only number 5 because I don't think of him as a voice actor first.
I feel like he's so talented that he could have been just a voice actor and been completely fine career-wise.
I agree.
But
yeah,
he's so much more talented than that. He was able to be on screen.
I don't know that we'll ever have another one like him. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, right on.
Good pick, Joey.
Well, Trevor, I'm lazy. I'm running the lazy Susan back to you for number 4.
All right, my number 4 pick is Troy Baker. He's in a ton of video games. He's Joel from The Last of Us, and I loved that video game, like start to finish. I loved the second one. It was I'm looking forward to the TV show that's coming up soon. Mainly because the Viper from Game of Thrones is going to be Joel, and I think he's going to do a great job. Or sorry, the Mandalorian will be Joel.
Yeah,
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, yes, love him too. But gotta say, Troy Baker, I loved his Joker impersonation when he played Joker in Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
He knocked it out of the park.
He did a very good job.
He does a lot of great voices, but I personally love Joel and his Joker because that was big shoes to fill when Mark Hamill said he wasn't going to do the voice anymore, and he kind of had to step in for that video game. Or I don't know if that was after the last time Mark Hamill said he was done doing the Joker voice, but
it came out between Arkham City and Arkham Knight, and Joker died in Arkham City, so they made it this whole I'm retiring the character, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then, of course, spoilers, he's back in Arkham Knight. The game is 6 years old. I'm not spoiling it for anyone. But he did a very, very good job. And it wasn't just like an impression. He did kind of make it his own because it is a younger Joker in that universe and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, and I remember when he did the recital from The Killing Joke at one of the Comic-Cons.
Yes.
That was a really cool reading when he did his Joker voice. Yeah. That's my number 4.
Nice.
That is a good pick. I would say he even did the Killing Joke reading better than Mark Hamill did it in the Killing Joke movie.
I would agree
with
the
movie
that too.
Yeah,
the movie it was all right. It wasn't bad. It added some unnecessary. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I just from knowing Troy Baker, he's in a lot of stuff that I didn't realize he was in until I looked at his credits, and it's like, man, this guy has just been working.
An encyclopedia,
dude. It's insane. He was like the go-to guy for a lot, especially for the video game industry and these companies hiring him over. So
yeah,
good choice.
He's pretty much like half the main characters I've ever played in video games.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is a very good pick. Very good pick. Jonathan, number 4.
Number 4. Man. Matt and Trey Parker, South Park, dudes. I was like, dudes. Kind of similar to how Joey was explaining, with Conker's Bad Fur Day, I guess. Like, Trey and Matt are the voices of South Park. They do every character, and what's amazing is just how. Even though the voices are pretty, that's I guess the funny stick about it is most of the voices kind of sound similar. And that's the whole funny, humorous part about it is it's both of them behind the voices throughout the whole series. But to be able to record and come up with the dialogue for an episode every week is just insane. And I don't know if you guys ever saw, I think there was a documentary of a filming of what it would be like to do one episode of South Park in a week or something like that. And it's insane how much goes into animating and putting all that stuff together, but also just the work ethic and, for both Trey and Matt to come up with these characters and, immediately record this stuff, and all the jokes and everything and let it land. So I think they're such hardworking voice actors, especially for having a show that's lasted this long and has been, I honestly still think kind of culturally it just, I don't know, it always captures things that are currently going on in our pop culture and our world and stuff. They always feel like they always kind of comment on those kind of things, and they're not afraid to kind of say stuff about it. And obviously, and then the creators behind the show too, and that's kind of cool to have kind of two people who are the ones who created the show but also are still in it, still producing it and still really putting their voice acting, forward. So yeah, Matt and Trey Parker.
That is a great pick.
Well, I know it's kind of a duo, but yeah.
No. I'll give that one to you, Shawnee. And my favorite is when Trey does like the ultra serious kind of like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, and there's like, it's so good. I was watching a documentary on Team America World Police.
Ooh, I gotta see this.
It was on. I say documentary. It was like a 20-minute YouTube video from like Joe Blow Media or something, like WTF or what the fuck happened to Team America. And it was, a very good history that I'd heard from my cousin Mickey. I remember when they were making the movie that he was like, yeah, the guys from South Park got their hands on the script of Day After Tomorrow, and we're just going to make that movie with marionettes and release it at the same time because they thought that would be funny. And then a producer and agent was like, guys, you can't do that. So then they pivoted and made Team America. But that's the only time I'd ever heard that before. And then this thing that I watched on YouTube confirmed it. I was like, oh shit, right on. I've been saying that for years. I'm glad that I finally got like a second source to back that up. That's awesome. All right, number 4, I'm gonna go with Tara Strong. She is incredible. Obviously, I would have first come to know her as Batgirl on Batman the Animated Series, but when Arlene Sorkin retired the role after the first Arkham game of Harley Quinn, she took over and she knocked it out of the park. And really, anytime they've tried to insert anyone else into the voice of Harley Quinn, it just doesn't work as well. But I think Tara Strong pays just the right amount of homage or whatever to Arlene Sorkin, but also makes the role her own. And but like, they got is it Kaylee Cuoco who does the voice on she's good. HBO. She's fine in that. Yeah. But the one before that, it was done in the same animated style as Batman Animated Series. I think it came out like in 2016, 2017, like Batman and Harley Quinn or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they got Michelle Rarsh or whatever her name is, also from Big Bang Theory. Awful. I mean, you just, not every, it's not just a Brooklyn accent. There's so much more to Harley Quinn. And I don't even think Margot Robbie has it 100% of the time in any of the films that she's been in as Harley Quinn. But I'd say why didn't they just fucking cast Tara Strong? She would have been great. She would have been great. And like, she's like a beautiful actress in her own right. You know what I mean? Like it's not like she's just, oh, we got to keep them behind the sound booth. She's a pretty woman. She's beautiful. But she's also done, let's see, Fairly Odd Parents, Timmy Turner.
Okay.
She was Dill Pickles, Rugrats. But a lot of different stuff. She's the singing voice of Meg Griffin on Family Guy.
She was Raven. She was Miss Minutes in Loki. Yes, and she was Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls.
Bubbles. Oh, wow. That's right. Yeah. So she's in a ton of stuff, and we're just kind of scratching the surface there because she's also in a lot of video games and stuff. Metal Gear Solid, it looks like. Tons of different stuff. So yeah, she's awesome. Tara Strong for number 4.
Nice pick, Joey.
Thank you. Trevor, throwing it back over to you for number 3, good sir.
Number 3, my top third would be Justin Roiland. I personally love his voice. I love Rick and Morty. I loved the finale that just came out.
Don't say anything.
I won't say anything. I loved this whole last season. I enjoy the fact that he has so much fun with the voices, and also, like, I'm sure you've seen the behind the scenes where he's just drinking to do the voice of Rick. Because he really gets into the acting on that one. But I think he's insanely talented, and especially for the amount, just same like South Park and a lot of those shows, most of the time, most episodes, he does most of the voices, like anywhere from like 75% to 100%, depending on the episode. But I think he's an incredibly talented individual and really weird, but in a fun way.
Yeah. Really weird, but in a fun way. I like that.
I've never seen it, but I am a big fan of Dan Harmon. I've been told I would love that show a lot.
Yeah.
I also love Dan Harmon's voice in that show.
Oh, he does a voice too?
He is Bird Person.
Ooh. I don't know what that is, but that sounds funny.
He's very... I love Bird. He's a funny character. Yeah.
Right on.
Right.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to say it once.
Let's see. Number. I guess number 3. So yeah, I do have Troy Baker as well. I was gonna switch him out,
all right.
I don't know. I've played enough. I played a lot of video games with his voice in it, so it's like, and you know what was kind of crazy? I remember like looking at his credits, and there was a PS exclusive Infamous Second Son, and I think they modeled the character after him in that game. Did. Like he almost like earned his like he got to like actually be in the game itself, which is really cool.
He got his avatar.
That's right. Finally. But yeah, I kind of going off of what Trevor was saying, I think, you know, he's just done so many of those recognizable voices for a lot of the video games in the last few years. And I don't know. I think he's become I even heard he's a musician too as well, so maybe that's probably why I kind of was the leaning towards him. And I think it's really cool to have someone like that who can obviously lend his talents to the video game industry, and especially now that, you know, with video games being such a bit, you know, the voice acting is a huge part of the story and what's going on in the games itself. So, you know, the role of a voice actor in video games has become a lot bigger than it used to be. So I think I feel like he is kind of one of the key characters to really push that, you know, those roles, and to get more, maybe more, not reputation, but like, just more reputation on as far as people doing voice acting for video games. Like it is a bigger gig these days because they are pretty much the main voice of the main character, or the people who are acting in this game. So I think as those stories kind of get bigger and those characters get bigger in the games itself, I think, you know, their role is very important. So Troy Baker.
Very nice.
A little crossover.
Love it.
Yes.
Strong pick. Very good. My number 3, you know, you were talking earlier, I believe it's Steve Bloom. You were saying, you know, you hear his voice and you're like, oh yeah. For me, that's H. John Benjamin. And his voice just makes me feel very comfortable. I'm just like, all right, we're in for, you know, whether it's Archer, whether it's Bob from Bob's Burgers, like I trust him for some reason. You know what I mean? And and he has such a not weird, but a very specific sense of humor. It's almost dad humor, but not really. And it's very cutting. It's very good. But that voice, you know, it's I don't know what it is. It's so good. And he does not look like you would expect him to look. You know, you know, like my introduction to him was Archer, and you think, oh, he probably kind of looks like Archer. He looks closer to Bob's Burger. He kind of looks like Homer Simpson, honestly.
Actually,
you know. But he's fantastic, and I'd love to just grab a beer with H. John Benjamin and just like listen to him tell stories. I think that'd be awesome. But yeah.
You know what? I actually, what did I see him in recently? It was a rewatch I was doing, but I rewatched Master of None with Aziz Ansari, and he was in that show. And it's just so weird because you close your eyes and you're like, dude, this is Bob's Burgers, man. Like,
it ruins any live action appearance for him.
Yeah,
it really does.
But it's funny because he's playing He's like playing an actor aside Aziz Ansari's character in the show. So it's like it's this weird like meta thing of like, yeah, he's actually an actor and voice actor and stuff like that. But it is kind of funny, and I think my girlfriend wasn't aware of it when we were watching, and I was like, "Do you recognize that voice at all?" And she's like, "Is that Bob from Bob's Burgers?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." So yeah, it's he definitely. I can't wait to see him. Even though I do see him in those particular roles, I can't wait to see him in maybe some other animated stuff or you know, voicing other characters too. You know, who knows what other kind of stuff he'll do. So I am pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, we're getting down to our top two picks.
Top two, y'all.
Trevor, take the floor, sir.
I will say my number 2 pick is actually similar to why you picked your number 3, because mine is Patrick Warburton, who is once you hear his voice, you know it. Emperor's New Groove. He's family. He's in so many different things, and just that. It's that same warming feeling. When I hear his voice, I feel safe. If he told me to do something, I would listen and be like, "Oh, you want me to like follow safety instructions? You got it." They do that at Disneyland. One of the rides, he does the instructions. I'm like, "You got it. I'm gonna listen, Patrick. I got you. Don't worry."
That's fantastic.
They picked the right guy for the job, because that is a very trusting voice when you hear it. And also, the poison for Cusco's poison. I love that bit. I love his character in that movie. Underrated Disney movie, but yes, he is
very good Disney movie.
Just because, for the same, like just that voice, when I hear it, it's a safe voice, and for some reason, he just has a direct line to my funny bone when he speaks, or anytime he cracks a joke. Yeah, I love him.
Where did you first encounter? Like for me, I think it's Seinfeld. He was Putty. He was Elaine's boyfriend on Seinfeld. I think that's where I first, heard that voice and have made that distinction. And then he was the Tick.
The Tick was actually the first time I heard his voice. That was the first introduction, and then it was like Emperor's New Groove sometime after that. But yeah, I love that.
Perfect like superhero voice too.
Yes.
Yeah,
especially for like a parody superhero. It works really well.
It feels like it's so grand that like he wouldn't realize that he's overdoing it.
Right? It's almost, he has the same kind of voice that I feel like Bruce Campbell as an actor is. Like he's almost like perfect, like jawline, like he's an action hero, so you can't really cast him as that because it's too obvious. It's too on the nose. You know what I mean?
He's too perfect. His voice is too perfect for that role. Yeah. Which is why it almost feels like a parody of itself. Yeah.
That's a great pick. That's a really good pick. Shawnee, how are you gonna follow that up?
Oh man. Let's see. Okay. I feel like I'm gonna switch. Ooh, no. Okay, I'm gonna keep my order right now. I was like, oh, should I switch these? I don't know. It's really tough as you get to the first and second. I'm gonna go number 2. John DiMaggio. He was the voice of Bender, Jake the dog in Adventure Time. He again kind of has that voice that it's so synonymous with those. I feel like those two characters specifically. I mean, I try to remember like the first time I saw him, and I was like, oh, that's the guy who plays those characters, and it kind of matches like his his I wouldn't say look, but like I immediately now, like, I didn't realize when I was watching like Adventure Time, like, oh, this is the same guy who did like Bender, you know what I mean? So it really connected with me, and I was like, man, this guy's been definitely contributing a lot as far as his character. He really injects kind of his personality and stuff into those characters with his voice, and it's again very recognizable. When I hear those voices, I just think of those characters specifically. But I mean, I haven't really finished all of Adventure Time, but I did watch Futurama all the way through for what I remember. I'm kind of thinking about doing a rewatch actually, but yeah, he is one of the best parts of that show, I think. Playing his character Bender, and kind of the wackiness and just kind of unfiltered a little bit sometimes with him. So I feel like he matches that kind of attitude with the characters and kind of characteristics. Like he really does a good job of kind of translating that to the listening audience. So yeah, there we go.
Very nice.
Good choice. I love his Joker too. I love when
he did. I was like about to say, I think he did Joker at one point.
For Under the Red Hood. Yeah.
That's right.
It's kind of interesting. Good. We've had a few kind of Joker crossovers, like with some of the voice actors we had tonight.
It's a hard voice to do well,
To maintain, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll have another conversation about Joker soon, and if not, soon. We'll talk about it. I'm sure. Number 2, I'm gonna go E.G. Daily. She was the voice of Tommy Pickles on Rugrats.
That's right.
And Buttercup on the Powerpuff Girls. And right. You might remember her husband from 95 to 2000, Rick Solomon, who starred in One Night in Paris. It was shot using night vision and kicked off the celebrity sex tape craze.
Damn. Some history right there.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that was part of the history.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia. Cool.
But yeah, no, her voice is fantastic. She's still doing Tommy. They just brought Rugrats back on Paramount Plus, but it's of course like a big digital kind of CG fest now. But yeah, you know, that's another one of those ones where it's like I hear Tommy's voice and it's like, you know, as a kid, I never would have thought, oh, a grown woman is doing this voice, you know, but she's fantastic. Oh my God. I just thought of another, damn it. Oh, well, it's all good.
Honorable mentions, or...
Yeah.
I don't want to say it in case she's on any of your guys' list. I don't think she's going to be number one on anyone's list, but I'm going to save it anyway. I'll wait after. But yeah, Eat You Daily.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice one, Joey.
Thank you so much. All right, number one. Big time.
Okay, I had two picks for number one just in case they won't. Like, that was the only one I actually planned for, and it was Tara Strong. So you already got Tara Strong, so cool. I have my backup.
Right on.
Phil Lamar.
Okay.
He's also from Futurama. He did Hermes. He was the Green Lantern in Justice League. He's in Family Guy. He was in Pulp Fiction. He was Marvin.
Yes.
Didn't exactly do well in the movie, but you know, it didn't end great for his character, but he did well in life. He also was one of my favorite shows as a kid was Samurai Jack, and that was my first introduction to him. Was hearing his voice in that show, which that show doesn't even have a lot of dialogue, but when it does, just the seriousness and just I don't know, you just hear that voice and you think, wow, that's a man. Like when you hear him talk, I'm like, that's a man. And when you think of a samurai that's going to go fight evil, that's the voice that I think of. And I'm also just been rewatching the 5th season with my girlfriend and her family because her sister hasn't seen it yet. And I love the final season of Samurai Jack. I had to wait 14 years for them to bring it back just to do one final season, but it was worth it because it was rated R and they went all out. I loved it. But yes, Phil Lamar had to be my number like him or Tara Strong. It was a toss-up between the two of them. Yeah.
Right on. Very nice. He did a stint on Mad TV as well, right?
Yep. Yes, he did. He was on Mad TV.
He's fantastic. He's so good. Yeah. Nice, very strong number one. I like that.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Samurai Jack.
Love it.
I have to watch. Yeah, I have to watch that too, man. Ooh, number ones. These are the tough ones, guys.
Jonathan, I'm so curious.
I feel like this might be the obvious. There's a few obvious ones in here. I actually before I say my number one, I did have Elizabeth Daily as my honorable mention too as well because of Rugrats, and I feel like it's one of the earliest kind of Nickelodeon shows I remember.
Yeah.
So I think I had that one, and then I think that's it. And then I said Troy Baker earlier. So number one, Kevin Conroy for Batman, dude. I mean, enough said. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, what else do you do when you hear that voice?
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to when I think Batman, and I think Joey said this before, like when you maybe read a comic or when you see like animated properties, usually most of the time I always think of his voice. It's just so iconic. So it lives and breathes Batman and Bruce Wayne. I think he's obviously well known for that particular role. But I mean, just growing up with the animated series, like Batman animated series, the games too. I mean, he did some of the voices for the Arkham series games, and I think it's a brilliant choice they did that because I was like, I'm totally in this. I want if this is the Batman I'm going to be playing on on my PlayStation, I want his voice in there. So, I can't say anything else. I think we've talked about Kevin before on the show, and I believe
so much so that we're on a first name basis with him.
Just Kev,
Kev, dude. Right? And then we're
man.
Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were on the Debatables podcast, and did Kevin Conroy win?
He won the whole shebang.
Yeah, we did a
Batman debatable.
What do you call it?
Countdown.
Batman countdown. Who's the best Batman character?
I 100% would agree with Kevin Conroy. Like I agree.
Yeah.
The games would not have been the same if it wasn't his voice that you got to hear as Batman.
Dude, I know.
Yes,
it's such a iconic character, and I mean, I don't know if he's doing more kind of other characters, but I definitely am curious to see what other characters he's taking on. But I mean, I don't want to say it, but I'm always gonna hear him as Batman. You know, he's always gonna be that to me. So yeah, there you go, number 1 for you guys.
Very good, very good, Jonathan. We had the same number 1, you son of a bitch.
Oh, dude. Of course.
Because he's synonymous with the character now. Even proper pieces of media that he's not in, you still hear his voice associated with the character. And so I'm going to strike Kevin Conroy since we shared a number 1, and I'm going to go Mark Hamill as a double list. The only reason I think Kevin Conroy edges Mark Hamill out is because the Joker is open to, I mean, all these characters are open to many, many different interpretations and what have you. And as perfect as Mark Hamill's Joker, his voice is and everything, I think Heath Ledger's is just as perfect. And so I can't really edge one out over the other. Having said that, it's still maybe the most accurate, because as accurate of a character and everything Ledger's Joker is, he doesn't look like him at all. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like the traditional Joker. He's got the cut smile and all that. Hamill, I think, is the closest we're ever going to get to like the definitive take on the character. His laugh is great. He does this great thing with his voice where he kind of goes like sing-songy, and it's almost British, it's almost not, and his inflections are all over the place, and it really captures that manic spirit just so well. And he's got the laugh that is just perfect. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'd be great fun to be a voice actor, but then you think about having to do that laugh in a sound booth in front of people watching you, and immediately your balls just go right back up into your stomach, and you're just like, I don't ever want to be in that position. I don't ever want anyone to be in a room with me while I do that. But he does it, and he does it so fucking well, and he can do it on command, and he can, you know what I mean? Like, it's I don't remember when I was told or how old I was when I found out, oh yeah, that's also Luke Skywalker. And now that I'm thinking about it, I was probably introduced to Hamill's Joker before I was introduced to Luke Skywalker. But yeah, it's really incredible. Like, now that I'm old enough and I can kind of hear it and look for it and spot it, but he loses himself almost completely with that character. That is Joker pedal to the fucking ground. It's so good. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a really good. Those solid number 1 picks.
all around. I think we all did a wonderful. We should all just give ourselves all
a little pat on the back.
Yeah,
good job,
really proud of us, guys. Wonderful.
Good list, y'all. Good lists.
Very good list. We're coming up on the hour mark. I don't know if I have enough gas to go
for the second
another
list. It's okay.
List.
Yeah.
How are y'all feeling?
I'm with you, Joey. I mean, we could definitely transition to a little share time action right now.
Yes. But Trevor, would love to have you on again for another list sometime. This is great.
I would love that. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Right on. Cool. So I'm still kind of blown away by this, but you said you listen to the show.
Yes.
Okay, so you know that we do sometimes, or not sometimes, we end after our list, we do a little share time. If there's anything that you've been watching, or would you like anything to kind of to share anything with our audience and be like, yo, check this out?
Two things. One, before I shamelessly share what my stuff.
Yes,
I
please.
I want to shout out to, or like say, hey, if you're not hyped for this, get hyped. Just because I've been replaying it with my girlfriend and we've been having a blast. God of War.
Oh, you know, I have to check out this series. I have not gone on the God of War series yet, and everyone's been telling me about it. So.
You don't need to play any of the others. Just start with the PS4 when they came out in 2018. It's fantastic. Also on voice actors, the voice actor that does Kratos is phenomenal. His voice it's so good. It's basically an angry dad simulator. You'll understand when you play, but it's really fun. You feel really strong in it. And so if you haven't played it, it's just beautiful graphics, beautiful. The music is great. They orchestrate a lot of the music, and it's just really beautiful. A lot of attention to detail. And I'm excited because the trailer for the next one's coming out. Sorry. I've been playing it with my girlfriend for when we've been hanging out, and it's a lot of fun.
Very nice.
Yeah, somebody to it's a fun. Even if you're just sitting there watching, it's just a beauty to look at.
You and your girlfriend have a lot more fun. Me and my girlfriend play Monopoly on the PS4, so that's like, I don't know.
we played Monopoly, but then I got called a cheater, and it was like, okay, no more Monopoly.
No.
You start winning, and it's like, oh, okay. No.
See, that's the trick. You guys got to cheat together against the bots. That's what we do. Yeah, it's a good time. Well, right on. Okay, and you said so that was your preemptive. Now go for the gold.
Yes, I wrote a book. It's about kind of dreams and aspirations. It's not a very long book, so if you only have a little bit of time, it should be pretty quick to read. The basic gist is it's kind of about an unsuccessful musician who decides to partake in a human trial for a new drug. This drug allows the user to lucid dream effortlessly. Anything you want to feel or experience will happen just as you imagine it. So what happens to an artist's ambition and their passion when happiness and the keys to success are literally just a dream away? And that's kind of what the story is about, just how we chase our dreams, how we kind of get lost on the way and really get sidetracked with mostly just daydreaming and thinking about what we want to do instead of actually working towards going through the muck of actually building that goal.
Right on. That sounds really great. What's the name of the book?
It's called Lucid, and it is available on Amazon. It's under the name Trevor Wesley. That is my pen name. So if you look up Lucid by Trevor Wesley on Amazon, you will find it. It is a very colorful cover. You will know it when you see it. It looks like this.
Very cool.
I realized I had it on my background. I was like, yeah, nice. All right.
That's awesome. Did you you said you wrote it in the pandemic?
Yes.
And so what was your process like? Did you get a first draft? Did you give it to readers? Did you hire editors? What was the thing?
So when I first started out, it was really just kind of literally storyboarding most of all of it throughout the entire way. And then I would do a one page for each chapter and go through the entire book. And then I would go chapter by chapter and rough draft, first draft, second draft, until I got to the final draft. And I did have friends read it. I did pay a couple people to edit it. I paid somebody to do the design cover. And mostly I just relied on my friends to hey, could you read it and tell me what you think? And Sean Day, I read my book to Sean Day in its entirety.
Yeah, so when we were.
That sounds so fucking intimate,
dude. It was kind of trippy because we were recording the audiobook, and I actually told him, I was like, because he gave me the book in, I guess, Word form, or in digital form, and I purposely did not read I read the first, I think, chapter, and I was like, you know what, this would be kind of cool if I went along with the read while you're recording it. I would kind of get the story and kind of get the first reactions of it. So it was kind of trippy because where I'm sitting now, I had Trevor in this little I had a little microphone set up here, and we had the script up on my screen and or the book up on the screen, and it was just the weirdest thing because he was narrating it with our headphones on, and it was he was literally reading it to me. So, but it was
awesome.
Cool because we had a chance to talk about it in between kind of breaks, and you also wanted to bounce stuff off of is this making sense, and how's this kind of come across to average listener reader. So.
That's why I loved it, because I got to get your live reaction. Were you enjoying it? Were you into it? Was there anything that didn't make sense? Was I stumbling? Was I speaking too fast?
It was really cool. Fun, dude. And I think now that I don't know why I didn't think about this. I think I've probably mentioned. I think from the podcast, Joey does writing and stuff. But I think you guys should definitely exchange it up. And if you guys need to, I was thinking people who you need critiques on. Constructive criticism on your writing and stuff. I think you guys can probably learn something from each other.
More than happy to send anything. Yes, and also if you ever need a narrator.
Right on.
I could. Sean Day has samples of what I've done.
Yeah.
Yes, please, God, we need this. We need this partnership. Wonderful. Yeah, no, this is very exciting, and it's writing is tricky. I think if that's kind of your thing, because. Okay, Sean's thing is music. Well, I can listen for 2.5 minutes and hear a full song and get the idea. Our buddy Danny is an animator, and he can show me a drawing and instantly, okay, I get your talent. Hey, would you mind reading hundreds of pages? Like, who the fuck still reads in 2021? It's a very difficult and people go, oh, okay, yeah, anyone can write. No. Just because you can spell don't mean you can fucking write.
Yes.
And even if you can spell don't mean, you know what I mean? So it's yes, I welcome and love all that kind of conversation. So I'm excited. Right on. And congratulations. That's no small feat.
Thank you.
Book.
I really appreciate it. And hopefully the audio book will be up within the next week. Is when I'm hoping to have it up on Amazon.
Cool.
Right on.
I want to hear your voice.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Shawnee, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience this week?
I kind of said it a little bit earlier. I kind of mentioned it too quick in the show, but did check out Writers Republic. It's a game I'm very interested in. I'll definitely give you my play-by-play on how it is come October 28th. Please don't. I know, because the last game I bought was Cyberpunk 2077, and that was a shit show.
We all know how that went.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but maybe that's why I'm kind of gravitating towards a game like that, or a game like Riders Republic, where it's I don't play too many online games, but this one seems like pretty much fun, and you're kind of doing these different sports and stuff, and I don't even play that much sports games too, so that's kind of an interesting thing for me. So I just found it interesting. I hope some of my friends get it so I could play.
You need to get a No Fear t-shirt.
Dude, no fear before I get yeah. Well, that's the thing is
you need to be chugging Monster.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of that's the kind of stuff I'm not really into usually, and it's like it kind of piqued my interest. So I was like, I could totally see this game being something that kind of like maybe not the GTA Online per se, but like I was just playing a little bit of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the remake remaster of 1 and 2, and I was doing like free skate mode with some like coworkers and stuff. So it's
nice,
that feeling of like doing these kind of like sports that you probably couldn't do, and like I can't do mountain biking and snowboarding extreme like that, but like it just seems like a lot of fun, and I'm really interested in the game. So
I feel like it's gonna have a good community.
I think so, yeah. Especially for what they're trying to drive with this, like, hey, all these people are playing at the same time. You can visually see. Actually, I saw a few videos where like you're going down a run and you'll see like a snowboarder like hop over you.
That's cool.
So there's like literally matches happening while you're racing. Like you'll see a few matches happen, which I think is I feel like the future of like online gaming as they get more. I wouldn't say complex, but like as they're able to fit more into like a map. I think it's gonna be kind of this all-inclusive, like, and it's been done before, but I think that's gonna heighten this kind of online community of like, hey, if you can see everyone doing their activities and their races on this map, it just like makes it much more kind of involved with the community and everything like that. So, yeah, that's my share for this week. Joey,
love it.
What do you got, man?
I got a few quick ones. You ready? Real quick. If you haven't seen the video floating around Twitter of Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it
that
out.
That shit man. And it was the way he talked to the audience, and then he would pause, and then he would talk again. And it was like, oh, that's what's triggering my nostalgia. It wasn't necessarily his voice but it was, you could almost hear the microphone rustle, and you could, okay, hey, can we? Cool. Okay. And it was like, oh shit, that's how he used to get us, Steve. So that was very cool. Number 2, American Crime Story. I loved American Crime Story OJ, which, even though Cuba Gooding Jr. is OJ Simpson, okay. I didn't watch the second season, but we did watch, Lisa and I watched episode 1 of American Crime Story Impeachment, which I'm very curious and excited for. A couple years ago, I listened to the Slow Burn podcast, where they re-examined the Clinton-Monica Lewinsky affair through a Me Too Time's Up lens, right? Because people were very cruel to Monica Lewinsky back when this whole scandal broke, and we were kids. We were probably like 8 or 9 when this stuff happened, and she was the butt of late night jokes and all this stuff. And then you realize she was 21, 22 years old, and having an affair with the most powerful man in the world, and thinking that they were probably in a relationship. No. You know what I mean? Like, it's way more complex than we gave it credit for back in the 90s. And now it's being re-examined, which is great, because Monica Lewinsky is fantastic. She's on Twitter, and she is hilarious and wonderful, and has like the best takes ever. So she came out on the other side. She's great. You know what I mean? But she went through fucking hell to get there. So this show is kind of looking, excuse me, at that. And Sarah Paulson plays Linda Tripp in a very kind of mean-spirited way. They put her in a fat suit, and she's always like scavenging for food. And then you have Paula Jones, who in the first episode kind of gives a press conference about being sexually abused by Bill Clinton, or sexually harassed. And the reporters like start making fun of her. It was the only part of the episode where I was like, this feels like what we think it was like back then. Like, there's no way it was actually like this, where they're just laughing at her in a press conference. Like, you know what I mean? It felt very clunky, but that was the only part that felt super clunky. Yeah, it's well done. I'm excited to kind of see the rest of this season, and I know how it's going to turn out. I'm like, I'll see how it goes. Yeah, I know how it goes. But I'm excited. Beanie Feldman, if you saw Booksmart, plays Monica Lewinsky, and she's fantastic. Clive Owen is Bill Clinton, and Edie Falco of Sopranos, which I just finished the first season of, is Hillary Rodham Clinton. So, whoa, okay, check it out. It's on FX. FX, okay. Not that they need me to do a shout out for it, but there we go. Nice. That's it.
Good cheers, man.
Cheer time.
Yes, Trevor. Where can we find you on the internets this week?
On the internets, you can find me on Instagram at tgoin, or my writing handle. Let me make sure I actually get the correct one, because I always get it mixed up with mine. Is Trevor Wesley Writes, just on Instagram. Trevor Wesley Writes.
Right on. Is there a T in Wesley?
No. Wesley. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. Right on. I'll give you a couple follows.
You.
Yeah. Right on. Jonathan, where can we find more of your lovely work this week?
You guys can find me on Instagram at SeanDayMusic, and on my website, SeanDayMusic.net. Did a little revamp on the website again, so check it out. .net. Joey, where can we find you on the internet?
You can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Joey Prodi, and on my website, joeyprodi.com, and there's Marty's asshole. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. That's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter, at gmail.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Music, Google Play, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify, all the good stuff. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you, Jonathan.
Oh man, I can never get this right. We're gonna give you just all the love back, man. All the loves. all the Blues Clues loves.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Trevor, it was great having you on. Thank you so much.
It's great to be on.
Hope to have you on again soon. Until next time, I'm Joey Pry.
I'm Sean Day.
Trevor Goin.
Right on. And thanks for listening.
I wanted to let you guys have your moment.